Chapter 6, Guard Your Mind Like It Is Your Fortune. There is an invisible vault that determines the quality of your life. Not your bank account, not your job title, not your network, your mind. Your mind is the vault where every belief, every habit, every expectation, every standard, every decision begins. It is the command center of your life. And yet most people leave the doors wide open. They allow anything to enter, any opinion, any distraction, any negativity, any fear, any narrative that drifts through the air. They allow strangers, headlines, comment sections, algorithms, and casual conversations to pour thoughts into the most valuable space they possess. And then they wonder why their confidence weakens, why their focus disappears, why their discipline collapses, why their ambition fades. Because the mind is not neutral territory. It is fertile ground, and whatever you repeatedly plant in that ground will eventually grow. This is why you must treat your mind like it is your fortune. Protect your mind like it protects your future. That is the law. Protect your mind like it protects your future. The greatest builders in history understood this instinctively. They did not allow random ideas to shape their thinking. They controlled their environment. They controlled their information. They controlled the voices they allowed near their vision. Not because they were fragile, because they were strategic, because they understood a truth that most people ignore. Your environment quietly trains your identity. Your mental environment shapes your identity. Think about that carefully. The people around you, the conversations you hear, the media you consume, the ideas you repeat, all of it becomes a psychological climate, and climate determines growth. A seed planted in fertile soil becomes a forest. A seed planted in poisoned soil dies before it begins. Your potential is the seed. Your mental environment is the soil. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Let's start with a simple observation. If you spend enough time around people who complain, you will begin complaining. If you spend enough time around people who doubt, you will begin doubting. If you spend enough time around people who expect failure, you will begin expecting failure. Not because you're weak, because the brain is adaptive. Your brain absorbs patterns. It mirrors behavior. It internalizes norms. That is how humans survive socially. But the same mechanism that allows you to learn can also trap you. If the environment around you is filled with limitation, your mind slowly begins to accept limitation as normal. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine spending time around people who build, people who take responsibility, people who pursue improvement, people who see problems as puzzles instead of prisons, people who believe growth is possible. That environment does something powerful. It expands your mental map. It stretches your sense of possibility. Suddenly, what once seemed unrealistic becomes obvious. Your mind begins to ask different questions. Instead of asking, can this work? You begin asking, how do we make this work? Instead of asking, what if it fails? You begin asking, what if it succeeds? This is the power of environment. Your mental environment shapes your identity. Now we must talk about something dangerous, information. We live in a time where information never stops. News, social media, podcasts, videos, articles, notifications, updates, opinions, endless streams of noise. And most people consume information the same way they consume junk food, without discipline, without boundaries, without awareness of the consequences. But information is not harmless. Information is nutrition for the mind. What you read becomes language. What you listen to becomes perspective. What you watch becomes imagination. Your thoughts are built from the material you feed your brain, which means every piece of information you consume is shaping your future behavior. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Imagine someone trying to build a strong body while eating garbage every day, sugary drinks, processed food, endless empty calories. They might train hard for an hour, but their body will struggle to grow because nutrition determines performance. The same principle applies to the mind. You cannot build a disciplined life while feeding your brain chaos. You cannot build confidence while feeding your mind negativity. You cannot build focus while feeding your attention endless distraction. Your information diet determines your psychological strength. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Now here is a challenge. Think about the last 24 hours. What did you feed your mind? What conversations shaped your thinking? What content filled your attention? Was it constructive? Was it educational? Was it empowering? Or was it random? Was it noise? Was it drama? Was it outrage disguised as information? Most people don't realize how much mental pollution they absorb every day. But pollution accumulates, and accumulation becomes identity. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Let's get practical. If you want an unbreakable self-image, you must begin curating your mental environment intentionally. This means making deliberate decisions about what enters your mind. Not everything deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves your listening. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. Where you invest it determines who you become. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Here are 3 powerful rules for building a strong mental environment. Rule 1. Limit exposure to negativity. This does not mean pretending the world is perfect. It means refusing to drown in negativity. Endless news cycles thrive on fear. Outrage spreads faster than truth. Conflict attracts attention. And if you allow that atmosphere to dominate your mind, your energy will collapse. Negativity is contagious. So is pessimism. So is cynicism. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Rule 2. Upgrade your information diet. Just as athletes carefully select food to fuel their bodies, builders must carefully select information to fuel their minds. Feed your mind ideas that expand possibility, biographies of builders, philosophy that strengthens thinking, knowledge that sharpens skill, ideas that challenge comfort, conversations that elevate perspective, information that builds capacity. Because capacity builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Rule 3. Guard your attention fiercely. Distraction is the silent enemy of progress. Every notification is a tug on your focus. Every endless scroll is a theft of your time. Every unnecessary input divides your mental energy. Focus is a muscle. If you constantly fragment your attention, that muscle weakens. But when you train focus intentionally, your ability to think deeply increases, and deep thinking creates breakthroughs. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Now let's talk about people, because people are one of the most powerful environmental influences. The people around you can either strengthen your identity or weaken it. Some people energize you, others drain you. Some conversations spark ideas, others spread doubt. Some relationships challenge you to grow, others encourage you to stay comfortable. Your social environment shapes your expectations, and expectations shape behavior. Protect your mind like it protects your future. This does not mean abandoning people carelessly. It means becoming aware of influence. It means recognizing when certain environments limit your thinking. It means seeking out conversations that stretch your mind instead of shrinking it. And most importantly, it means surrounding yourself with builders. Builders think differently. Builders talk differently. Builders act differently. They do not spend their days blaming. They do not waste time complaining. They do not obsess over problems without searching for solutions. Builders are curious. Builders are disciplined. Builders move forward, even when conditions are imperfect. Being around builders expands your sense of possibility. Their mindset becomes contagious. Their standards become visible. Their habits become examples. And slowly your own identity begins to rise. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Let's illustrate this with a simple image. Imagine 2 rooms. In the first room, everyone is complaining. The economy is terrible. Opportunities are gone. Success is luck. Effort doesn't matter. People are corrupt. Dreams are unrealistic. Spend enough time in that room and your ambition will suffocate. Now imagine another room. In the second room, people are planning. They discuss ideas. They study problems. They analyze opportunities. They share lessons. They experiment with solutions. They believe improvement is possible. Spend enough time in that room and your thinking will expand. Not because someone forced you, because environment rewires perspective. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Now here is something important. Sometimes the environment you need does not exist yet in your immediate surroundings. Sometimes the people around you are not builders. Sometimes the culture around you is small. But the modern world offers something powerful. Access. Books. Audiobooks. Lectures. Conversations with thinkers from different centuries. You can fill your mind with voices that challenge you. You can build a mental council of mentors. You can create a psychological environment that pushes you forward even when your physical environment is limited. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Now we must connect this principle back to discipline and identity. An unbreakable self-image cannot survive in a toxic environment because identity grows from repetition. And if the messages surrounding you contradict your vision every day, your progress becomes harder. That is why guarding your mind is not optional. It is strategic. It is necessary. It is a form of self-defense. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Let's talk about silence. Silence is one of the most underrated mental protections. Silence allows your mind to think. Silence allows ideas to form. Silence allows clarity to emerge. But modern life fills every quiet moment with noise, music, podcasts, videos, notifications, messages. The mind rarely gets a moment to breathe, and without breathing space, deep thinking disappears. Builders create silence intentionally. They walk without headphones. They sit with ideas. They allow their thoughts to stretch, because great ideas rarely arrive in noise. They arrive in quiet. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Now let's shift toward gratitude. Gratitude is another powerful mental filter. Without gratitude, ambition becomes bitterness. Without gratitude, progress feels invisible. Without gratitude, comparison returns. But gratitude stabilizes perspective. It reminds you of what is working. It reminds you of what you have already built. It reminds you that progress is happening even when it feels slow. Gratitude protects optimism, and optimism fuels persistence. Protect your mind like it protects your future. So now we come to the core message of this chapter. Your mind is not just a tool. It is the engine behind your identity. Every belief, every habit, every decision begins there. If that engine is polluted, progress becomes difficult. If that engine is protected and strengthened, progress accelerates. And the responsibility for protecting that engine belongs to you, no one else. Not society, not your boss, not the algorithm. You. Protect your mind like it protects your future. Let's bring everything together. You built the foundation of identity. You destroyed the trap of comparison. You learned to command your internal dialogue. You installed discipline as the architect of your life. Now you have fortified the environment where that identity lives, because a strong mind must be guarded like a treasure. And once the mind is protected, something extraordinary begins to happen. Your expectations begin to shift. You start believing success is not rare. You start believing growth is normal. You start expecting progress. And expectation is a powerful force, because expectation shapes behavior. So the next step in building an unbreakable self-image is learning how to train your expectations, how to program your mind to anticipate success instead of fearing failure. That is where we go next. Make sure to follow this channel for the 7th chapter. If it's already published, you can find it in the description of this audio. The title of the next chapter is Train Your Mind to Expect Success.